kick off in a second. Just gonna wait for a couple more people to drop in. Making sure my mic is working. Yes, it's all recorded. Hope everyone is having a great day and happy Friday for us Aussies. Finally, we're getting a bit of sunshine. It's been raining for 3 days over here, so what I thought we'd do today is going through a bit of a scan. So I reckon we're just about good, eh? Let's get cracking, I reckon. Let me know in the chats if you can hear me, because I'm talking, but yeah, I think GM. Yes, beautiful. Let's start. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. From wherever you are tuning in. Thank you for coming to another week of Training with Aussie. We are going to do a bit of a scan today because there's a lot of speculation at the moment as to where the market is at. So I thought we could just take a bit of a look at a macro perspective together and understand where we are, as opposed to just doing the usual pairs. We'll just take a look at Bitcoin. So first of all, this is the structure, right? We're on a daily, so we've got low, high, high, low, high, and now we are at an inflection point. The daily candle closes in 26 minutes, so we've got 25 minutes. Likely on this stream, we'll be able to understand where we are going to sit at a Bitcoin standpoint. So this is the structure right here, and you can see Bitcoin is starting to already close a little bit below. So let's play the options games. What happens if this daily candle closes substantially below this candle? So this candle right here closes below this candle. Well, we have obviously a break of structure. This would not surprise me at all. And the reason is you can see the movement prior to this, where we are now. This candle right here, it's a buy to sell move, meaning it was manipulated to grab all this liquidity, equal highs, grab them, and then this is the move. So when you see these kind of candles, buy to sells or sell to buy, if it's the opposite direction, you can expect a large move in the opposite direction. And I think this is what we're going to get personally. I know it's early to call it, 25 minutes to the daily candle closes, but it will make perfect sense for me to come back into this area, which is the 102, effectively all the way from anywhere between 98 to 103. So into this daily candle, which is the exact opposite, and I hope you can see it. It's the exact opposite of this buy to sell move. This was a sell to buy move. So we took out the previous liquidity from here, and obviously we move in the opposite direction. When we have this kind of movement in the market, we can expect not just volatility, but also a retest of these areas, right? And there's quite a few gaps here that we can see. This is obviously quite a big gap from 104,650 to 103. Few of these gaps haven't been here as well. So this gap right here hasn't been mitigated. So I'll just highlight them for us so we can have a better look. So that is a imbalance or fair value gap, and also my mouse gone, and also we have this one right here, another fair value gap. So we've got quite a few imbalances to come back to. So personally, I am leaning on a short bias. This morning in the chats, someone was saying, "Hey, can we long Bitcoin?" And I had this charted up. I didn't take it, so that's obviously why I didn't call it. But I have this charted up. So if we were to flip bullish, excuse me, or simply just look for a bullish pullback, it would just be a temporary pullback, in my opinion. So it would have to be a scalp. And I was looking at the structure. There's quite a lot of indecision at the moment. You can see on the 15 minutes, big wicks. This is just market being indecisive, not knowing where we are going to go next. My attention, if I was to take a long, which I'm not personally, would be at this candle right here. So this will be a take profit. Or even better, if we go back up here, this will be a nice short opportunity. So I would rather short from this candle right here than long from here, because I don't think we have any confirmations at the moment. So my idea will be from here, and I'll just do this and this. So from here, a continuation down, something like this will be a nice 1, 2, 3 already as it is, with the continuation to potentially going into these fair value gaps, which is highlighted. So nice short idea. The only thing that I would call is you got to be attentive and pay attention to previous liquidity. And you can see here we have quite a lot of equal highs, and this is a trap in my opinion. So what I would do if you are priced out, if you're sidelined, not in any trade at the moment, and you're looking at taking a trade, I would definitely keep an alert here in this candle. So from 113,450, but I would also have an entry too just above this highs, just so that if we decide to manipulate and take that liquidity, I would have another second entry, potentially with a wider stop gap right there, stop loss, and it will still give you a beautiful risk to reward. Okay, so 1 to 4. So this could potentially be a nice setup where we take 2 entries, one from the 15 minutes right there, and one from the liquidity pool. Okay, so that is Bitcoin at a macro perspective. So we've gone from the daily, understanding where we are, 25 minutes until the candle closes, 20 minutes now. But at the moment, I'm looking for shorts, personally. Ethereum, of course, it's likely going to follow a similar pattern, and we can see Ethereum has got an even bigger drop to be had. So lot of these imbalances up here will eventually get filled. And if you took a range, which is basically just the low up here to the high up here, so this is the daily range that we're playing at the moment. It's quite a big range. We've gone from 3,300 all the way up to almost 5K, 4,748. So it's a massive range, which means we will have some retracement. It's just normal how the market works. So if I was to take a fib from up here to up here, and we'll make it a lot bigger so we can see, maybe we'll make it even with straight lines, so it's a little bit easier to see. I want us to come back. We literally just touched the 50 to 61.8, but I'd like us to come back somewhere into that 76, which you can see it's where we had a little bit of bearish pressure. So we've gone from a big push down all the way up, but right here at the 3,700 to 3,600, there was a bit of an attempt at reversing back down, which obviously didn't work out because the bulls were back in control. So I am expecting some sort of retracement for ETH. I would love to see it going back down there. So something like this will be a beautiful short, somewhere there. But again, I'm not going to take it now just because I want to see what the 1 hour, with the 1 day or the daily candle does first. Especially now, we can just delete this idea. Especially now, you can see we are coming back into a beautiful area right here. So this is a gorgeous place to potentially do a little bit of a scalp long if you wanted to. If you play scalps, this would be my potential area. But understanding that at a macro, we are in fact bearish. So why would I want to do that if I think we are gonna go? I've got my colors mixed up. Sorry, there. That's that and that. So something like this could be a nice little scalp. But I don't like to trade these ways because if I have a bias, which is we're gonna go lower, why would I go against my bias? But this is definitely a trade that that could work out really nicely if you are into scalping. And you can manage a trade. Personally, I'm not going to be able to manage any trades today. I'm going to be at work, back-to-back meetings. So I don't want to just, pray and spray per se. So, but definitely flagging this, which is pretty much a current market price on ETH. And you can even go a little bit more generous if you wanted to. And we definitely want to look at this as your take profit. So something like this, put it on your radar. Actually, I would keep it even tighter right there. So if you get stopped out, it's pretty quick. So we're looking at continuation down for BTC, for ETH, and of course for SOL as well. We are currently in a gorgeous, beautiful short from SOL. I was expecting some sort of pressure from here, and we did get it. Obviously, you can see yesterday this daily candle gave us the reaction that we wanted to, and now it's just a matter of understanding where are we at with the lower time frame. Again, this is a trade that we were just discussing this morning, which is a few hours ago in the chats. I said if you are looking, this is a nice 15 minutes candle similar to the ETH idea which we just looked at. Very much similar risk to reward as well. This will be a candle that if we do decide to come back down, you might see some sort of potential small gains to be had there. But it's all about the risk to reward ultimately, not about the the pips or anything like that. We're not in forex. So 1 to 3 potential on SOL, but understand this is a risky idea because we are obviously riding this short, which I personally think has still got a lot to go. You can see equal lows. My mouse keeps disappearing on my other screens. Got a great new mouse. What is that? A Logitech 3S, which is fantastic, MX, but it just goes where it wants. Yes, you can see equal lows down here on the 15 minutes. There's quite a lot of liquidity even on the hourly. So it depends on your risk appetite, and this you can see this equal lows goes all the way back here. So all this is a pool of liquidity, which I think we're going to take out eventually with SOL. So I do believe in a higher time frame continuation lower. Whether you want to take a lower time frame, and I'm talking about 5 minutes, 15 minutes kind of trade from pretty much where we are now, it's entirely up to you. Personally, I'm not going to partake for the reason that I said earlier. I'm going to be at work, so I'm letting my short ride, and I'm happy with that. But I am a higher time frame. Calling it out for you guys, of course, understanding that not everyone is a higher time frame trader, so there is opportunity on every time frame. This is so important to understand. When we are trading, every single time frame has got opportunity, right? Just because we're going lower on a higher time frame doesn't mean that we have to go lower on every single time frame. So XRP, we can cancel this idea because that's doing nothing. This was a short that I was hoping we would get, but we didn't, so cancel that. And let's have a look at the macro. Very similar to, I guess, everything, right? So we are now at a slightly better position though in terms of the daily range. So this was the range on the daily, so low to high. And you can see now we are obviously going towards that lower end of this range. I do think we will see again, similar to what we discussed with ETH and BTC, a lower price action, potentially to come back and fill some of these imbalances. But it will also make sense if you do keep in consideration harmonics, because when an harmonic happens, in this case a bat harmonic, we know that usually we tend to go back into the 50 to 618, which we barely tap. We had a reaction, so I'd love to see a retest somewhere a little bit deeper into that fib pocket of that liquidity price action before we move higher. My targets for you can see my targets for XRP are still a little bit higher, 4.5 or just before, and 5.5. The way I'm going to play it likely is once we get up there, I'm going to pretty much convert all my XRP into Bitcoin, because by then XRP BTC chart will be nice and high and I will have a lot more Satoshis. So that is my plan. Not necessarily converting into stables. I don't necessarily need to have stables around. Everyone is different, but I'd rather have more Bitcoin for the long term. These are the main four. So to summarize it, we've got BTC going lower, most likely 50 minutes now to the candle. You can see we're starting to push lower. ETH likely going lower. It's got a lot of ground to cover, but with the possibility of a long scalp. You can see we're starting to get a little bit of indecision there, but nothing just major. And actually, while I do this, it's important. When you see this kind of price action, that will probably be the area where I would take it on that 30 minutes candle right there, which is 2. So I would actually do it a little bit lower, better risk to reward, gives me a 1 to 4, something like that for ETH, if I really have to play this idea. Solana, similar to everything else, just going lower, and XRP. Now, where does that leave us with alts? Well, if BTC does drop, which I believe it will a little bit anyway, a bit more of a correction, that leaves us with pretty much all of our alts to go lower. We know that Link has been on an absolute tear, probably outperformed the market. I do think it's time to start taking some profit, depending on where your entry was. Apologize, my very large dog is guarding because the postman is out. You can see we have now reached, and we're on a daily, we've now reached almost extreme levels, right? So high to low. We're sitting at the 76. We've tapped it and we're starting to reverse. It would not surprise me if we start seeing some normal correction. I say normal because it is to be expected. Once we have such a big run from $11 all the way to almost $30 on what is a multi-billion-dollar market cap project, we will likely see some sort of retracement back into the 17 or 18. So I'm saying this not because I'm not bullish on Link. I was buying at $8, so I'm definitely bullish on Link. I've got a fat bag of Link, but it's time to start taking some profit. So start crafting yourself a bit of a take profit strategy, because obviously there is for us the possibility to go higher, to make new all-time highs. But if we do look at what the charts is and the macro is, which is obviously Bitcoin potentially going a little bit lower, that means that all of the alts, Link included, will likely bleed and come back down. So depending on your entry, I say definitely take some Link out. And another way that you can actually play is if you don't want to stable out and just take some profit, you can simply park your Link into BTC. So let me find the chart so you can see what I mean. And you're basically just playing the dominance gain. So you can see very similar chart. This is Link against Bitcoin. So if you had a good entry on Link down here, now all you can do is basically sell some Link for Bitcoin, and you just park your Link into Bitcoin, which is obviously now worth a fair bit. So instead of just being stable and completely not partaking in the market, you're still within the market, just in Bitcoin, so which is obviously a safe asset, and you're still partaking. So that's how I would do it, and this is how you can see this is how I'm planning to do it. So I'm going to take 10% out here, I'm going to take another 50% out here, and then I've got other take profits up here. So I'm not going to stable out necessarily. I'm just taking out some of my Link gains, and I'm parking them into Bitcoin. So that allows me to still have exposure. Hope it makes sense. Let me know in the chat if it makes sense. Are we rich yet? I just saw it there. Just looking at the chat now. Yeah, it just allows us to still partake the markets that way. Let's have a bit of a look at other projects that I've been eyeing. So QRL, I know it's very out there. Quantum resistant ledger, called it a couple of weeks ago. I said, we're approaching these levels, and sure enough, we reverse. So if you took that that call, you would have had a 50% gains, basically where the market is taking a downturn, which is if you play the game that we just talked about, take your gains, park them back into Bitcoin. That is, you'll be winning much quicker than if you just buy stuff. So definitely happy with that call, QRL. Another one that I think is going to pay off pretty good is IO. And let me find it, which should be in my Sol ecosystem or in my AI. So if you go and have a look at what IO does, this is a great project that ultimately helps render quite a bit. It's a relatively new project, so it has been around, I think, since 2024, so last year. But it's at a fantastic level now, and all it's doing really, we know that this is just creating liquidity, gearing up for a larger move, and potentially coming back into these imbalances right here. So go and have a look at what IO does. It's all AI related, and it has some working sponsorship with incredible company. I think they're actually a part of the NVIDIA accelerator program too. So they definitely are one to put on the radar for risk to reward. And you can see, like, if we come back into these imbalances right here, we're looking at a 300, almost, over 4x from this level. So I'm going to be playing personally the AI game in this at this point of I guess the cycle. more so than, say, for example, other speculative things like memes and whatnot. So that's just that's just how I play it. My big conviction is going to be AI projects, is going to be storage solution, is going to be some proof of work. So we've got Casper. Casper is another one that I don't necessarily condone buying it at 8 cents because we were buying much lower. So our entry was somewhere down here. You can see the yellow box was our entry at 6 cents. But, if you don't have any, well, this is not a bad spot to initiate a position. The only thing else I flag is you can see we are creating this trend line liquidity up here. So we'll likely see some push down here and a reversal back up. So proof of work, I think there's going to be a lot to be said for Casper once not just Mara, which is a mining company for Bitcoin, but other mining company do catch up on the fact that you can mine Casper, you can do rewards. The what's his name? Forgot his name. Casper founder is an absolute gun of a developer. Full set, like it's a gun of. It's been behind basically the Ghost protocol. If you go and have a look at the Ghost protocol, it's basically what almost everything has been built on. So, excuse me, been sick the last 2 days. It's something that I do believe that it's a big conviction there. Proof of work, AI, storage. That's kind of my where I'm bidding at this point of the cycle. Tau is one that I hope is going to come back lower just to give me better entries. Not so much better entries, but more entries. My first entries were in the 200s. I think we managed to catch this one here, which was just sub 200. You'll have to remind me in the chats, but if I've got it marked up, usually it's because we caught it. I do see us potentially coming back a little bit lower and coming to fill these gaps right here in the 225 to, so something like this, potentially 225 to 275. You have a low leverage on IO long, yeah. So longs at the moment, I think they're all gonna get pretty much stopped out. Any long, especially on alts, is just pretty much gonna get wrecked, I would say, just because Bitcoin is going to push lower. So I'm expecting any long. I think I only got 2. I think I got grass open still, which for some reason hasn't gone down yet. So I'll take it, but I'll definitely move my stop loss at break even. And I forgot, what is that? ICP? Was that ICP potentially? Nope, not that one. That was another one that I had open. But yeah, it's look, these alts are going to drop depending on where your stop loss is. T-Bone, if your stop loss is down here, you might be safe. If your stop loss is here, or even just here, I've got a feeling that you might see some sort of scam week, because it is a lower market cap project, so more manipulation, easier to manipulate, and come and grab your money for market to go up higher, because money is fuel. All right, I don't know, wiggle typing, knows that. Is that your leverage play, and what limit? I would say I'm not going to condone any long leverage swings at the moment just yet. I want to see a bit more confirmation. Like IO will be a good level if it comes back here. Sure, give me this entry right here. So we're looking at, what is that? 58 cents into 58 cents into 56 with a stop loss. Call it 50 cents. So 58 to 56 cents, stop loss at 50 cents. That will be potentially a play, but I would rather at this stage play more the spot game, just because with the uncertainty of how low Bitcoin will retrace, right? We just looked at Bitcoin potentially retracing all the way down here. It's quite a big drop, right? Like it would be like a 15 to 20%. No, not quite. 15% drop. So if Bitcoin drops 12%, alts will likely, drop double that, 20%. So I'm okay with, parking a few $100 redos into a project and be down for 20% just for a few weeks, but I don't want to necessarily be stopped out or liquidated if I'm playing the leverage game. So personally, at this point with Bitcoin, not your alts, Do I dare ask, Cappy? Do I want to know? I think we will come back here personally, so it just makes sense, right? And I'm not saying this is the end of the cycle, even though like months and months and months and months ago we did discuss we are sitting at a 3.618 time fib extension, which like cannot make this up. This was the time I said we are likely going to drop, and we are seeing what potentially, and I'm not saying it is, I'm not saying it is, okay? Not of there's still so much that could potentially send us higher, but this move alone is indicative of a big drop coming. So we will continue dropping. So rather than looking for shorts at the moment, I'll say keep your rather than looking for longs at the moment, I say keep your shorts open, let them run. Don't be scared if we see some sort of pullback higher, because I do think we have a fair bit more downside from here, and it just makes sense. There's a lot of liquidity sitting down here. This was a big run, right? So it makes sense for us to come back and retest this. Not to mention that we have this yucky massive liquidity trend line up here, which I don't think potentially will be retested until we come into bear territory. But I've got it on my chart there as a reminder. Guess what happens with liquidity trend lines, guys? We know this. They get taken out eventually. Okay, so we will see 75,000 Bitcoin again. People that say we will not see sub $100,000. Bullshit. Excuse the French. Excuse me. Sorry. That's BS. No, we will see another $75,000 Bitcoin in the next however many months. So, but for now, yeah. Look, we might reverse here. If we do come back up here, I will short with as much capital as I can. I'll tell you that much. I don't think if we do revert back here for whatever reason, this will be an insane short that might print for a very long time. But I doubt it. I think we're going to break from here, personally. So we might see some sort of reversal from this level and maybe come back up here and then continue back lower. Then there's more pressure here, continue back lower. And then obviously we want to see some sort of strength and a break of structure up here. So, hope it makes sense. Very pretty squiggle there. Chartist, that's what I'm calling myself. You're way too bullish. Yeah, and that's the problem, Cappy. Like, I am not in any way, shape, or form saying this is the end of the bull market. But when you approach, and you know this, like you're a beast of a trader. When you marry a bias, when you're really convicted about something, usually it's where the market proves you wrong. Because it's not just you thinking about, oh yeah, we're gonna go higher, we're gonna go 150, we're gonna go 170. Like, it's not just you, right? There's euphoria for a reason. But if you detach yourself from any kind of bias and you just look at the charts, this was a liquidation event. Now you can see, probably saw my alert going off. So we actually just closed 1 minute ago, slightly below the previous low. So structure is technically invalidated. If you want to go and buy now, you can likely have that small riddle, play and do something like this. You can do. It's a 1-2. The risk is not there for me. But this is likely what's going to happen. New daily candle just opened. Boom, you can open now, and you'll watch price action probably coming back into this candle right here, and then potentially reversing back lower. So it's already starting to move there. So, but yeah, look, I'm not either bullish or, yeah, that's right, I would rather wait for the short, 100%. Now the real question is going to be, where is that short opportunity going to present itself? It doesn't have to be just from Bitcoin, right? If we have a bias that Bitcoin is going lower, well, likely Ethereum is going to go lower. And we just looked at Ethereum actually has a much nicer short opportunity. If I just delete my little squiggle, there, there, that, and that. Let me just delete that. If we go back into the daily, this candle right here will be a nice short opportunity for ETH, right there. So something like this could give us a nice drop. So target this candle right here as a take profit. You move it from here, so call it, what is that, 4,420, 4,420. We like that number. There, something like this for ETH would definitely be a much preferred trade, and similar to Sol, likely. Like you can see, Sol actually wicked into that candle that we're eyeing. So you can see it actually wicked into this candle right here. So that candle is already invalidated for me. So I would have to go back and look into 4 hour. There's nothing there. 1 hour. There's one there that I can see straight away. This will be the short for me on Sol. So delete that. Delete that. That's the short that we're currently in. So I definitely don't want to delete that. But yeah, if you missed out on that short, you've got, I think, a second opportunity coming up real soon on that candle right there. Boom. You can be a little bit generous with that TP, sorry, with that stop loss right there. And obviously you would have TPs on the way, but I do think we'll come back down here. And that's a nice 1, 2, 3, 3.3 out of that candle right here. There. So couple of short opportunities coming up, I think. But yeah, long term, it's really hard to say when Bitcoin is going to top up. I do think and I know that I've spoken to a couple of you. I do think we are closer to the top than people realize. And I am not against calling this potentially the top, which would really shock people, because people would think, oh no, we needed to go back to 150. Oh no, we need to go back to 200. And then you hear, Michael say like $250,000 Bitcoin this year. It's like, yeah, right. We'll get there for sure. Don't take me wrong. I do believe we'll see $1 million Bitcoin in the next 4 to 8 years. Like $1 million Bitcoin. Yes, I do believe that would happen. But at this cycle, we might see some sort of zigzag and then potentially come back up here, and then I do think we'll see some sort of reversal pretty soon. So that's why I'm not against taking profits on some of my alts like Link that have already outperformed the market. Obviously I'm not going to take profit on alts that are currently suppressed, right? Like Make at the moment is gone back to 1600, so it's doing pretty much a dog's breakfast. Uni's done beautiful. Like we were buying Uni at $5, so it's a 2x. I love to see Uni going back a little bit higher though. Like I love to see Uni coming back into these levels. Give me that, and I'll start exiting again once we go past the $12. 12 to 15 for me for Uni will be a nice take profit area. So, and then obviously Sol ecosystem is something as well that I'm keeping a close eye on, because I do think it is going to perform really well in the coming potentially weeks. Just because Bitcoin is going to go down a little bit doesn't mean that there's not going to be a time. There's going to be a small window of opportunity where alts will run, and then obviously everything will go back down, because the alt rotation I don't think it's really happened yet, but I don't think it's going to be as explosive as people think and explosive as people are used to in previous cycles. That was a thesis that I shared a few months back, I think, where basically with the massive adoption from institutions at an institutional level with Bitcoin is now the digital gold. Like we all accept that, right? Like we all, I hope if you're on this stream or listen to the recording, you can see that Bitcoin is the new digital gold, which means institutions will want to be heavily involved in Bitcoin. So the demand for Bitcoin is likely going to be much higher than the demand for alts. So therefore, our alt run will not be as explosive as we like. We'll just get a little bit more, but then eventually Bitcoin is going to grab more and more capital share. I need to delete this line chart. No, I mean 12 hours. It's not impossible. I don't know if $400. I do think Sol might potentially go back up there, but you just got to be super careful when you're playing Elliott waves and things like that. Like they do have a place, and you've seen me use them as well, but you just don't know. Like what tells you that that wave is going to finish at 360? What kind of extensions, fib extensions and whatnot. Like I would rather personally see selling pressure right here. You can see, like I'm going by these levels. I know that there's going to be some selling pressure up here. So I have a feeling that Solana will come back into the 250s. Absolutely. And I do have a feeling potentially we're going to come to retest this 300. Do we go higher? Oh, I don't know. I don't know if we go higher. Really don't know. 300, I would definitely be scaling out heavily on everything Solana personally. So yeah, bearish case as well. Cool. Cool chat. That's pretty much it. Like in terms of the alts that I've been looking, of course, we talked about quant in the chat a few times. We might get the entry that we talked about sub 100. I love that for quant to come back into the 84 to 95 area. We might get that. And quant, for those of who, if you don't know what this is an ISO 220 project, just like XRP. It's basically a banking coin. But obviously XRP now is stealing a lot of that market share. Yeah, backing up the track into BTC at 75k. That will be, yeah, and we'll see it. We'll see it, right? But this is the thing about like trading. If you understand that it's a game of patience, one that like, all right, let's do this quick exercise. I'm sure you've done it many times, but Bitcoin in 2023, so 2 years ago, right? Like COVID. Who here in this chat feels like COVID was almost yesterday? It kind of feels far, but it almost feels like I remember when I still had to wear those bloody masks and just ridiculous, right? It feels like a little bit feels like yesterday. So Bitcoin was at $12,000 and it flash crashed during COVID to $5,000. Like that's not a lifetime ago. That's like a few years ago. It flash crashed to sub $5,000. And today we have $100,000 Bitcoin. So if you bought Whop Bitcoin during COVID, when everyone was getting stimulus checks and everyone was governments were throwing money at you, if you would have gone, I'm going to buy one Bitcoin here. I'm going to take some of that free money that the government is giving me and I'm going to buy one Bitcoin. That free money would have turned into $113,000. But then again, do you think people didn't get scared when it went from 15,000 down to 4,000, and then it exploded up to 66,000, and then it traced back down to 32,000, so 50% drop. Then again, from 69,000, it dropped all the way back down to 14,000. And people were like, this is it. This is the end. Oh my gosh, this is the end. I've gone from 70 grand of Bitcoin down all the way to 14,000. But if you had bought a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, would you be up still today? Yes or no? In the chat. Like this is a long-term game. The game of investing is very different from the game of trading. Like I'm not saying we're not here to play the trading game. We are here absolutely to grow our leverage account. But ultimately, if you invest in projects that have legs, you're playing the 5, the 10, the 15 years game. And it will be rewarding, but you got to flip that mentality from your rewards now. I want it now. I need my account triple now because I can do that with meme coins. So that now gratification is not going to get you far when it comes down to investing. So I guess I went on a bit of a rant. We will see again another $75,000 Bitcoin. I am almost certain, but guess what? That $75,000 Bitcoin that we will see again will look ridiculous when Bitcoin on the next round goes to 250. So put everything into perspective and don't, just be discouraged because the market goes down. You got to be greedy when the market goes down. You want to look forward for when the market goes down. I can't wait. I can't wait for Bitcoin to come back in $75,000 because I'll buy more. And I'll buy more because when I look like a genius when it goes to $300,000. I was buying Bitcoin at 75. Now it's at $500,000. That's going to happen. we'll watch this recording together and we'll laugh. But all right, let's end the stream with this little little rant of mine. Zoom out, bird's eye view. Don't. Yeah, I know it will happen in our lifetime. In our lifetime. So stay patient, fam. Just wait for the retracement. Wait. For now, let the market do its thing. I'm not going to be jumping into anything now just because we're at an extreme level. If anything, I want to see some more shorts potentially up here, but really ETH and SOL have got better setups, so I will call them out. Thanks, fam. I really appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in live or watching the recording. And yeah, see you guys next week. Have a great day or night. Bye.